Hello. Hello. Anyone around here speak basketball?
Taking Bobby Webster.
This is Adam Silver.
Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks
Basketball Podcast.
I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I'm your producer, Matt Duncan. Freddie, media days happened. How are you feeling now? The flame of the season has been lit.
I am doing good, especially since you use the flame analogy. Now I'm just picturing the Raptors making their way across Canada, passing a torch.
Yes.
I guess that's what I guess that's what training camp sort of is. They always started in a different province. But how are you doing, Matty?
You know, I'm doing well, Fred. Thanks for asking. I am excited that we're about to start our 10th season of Confederacy of Dunks. And yeah, just, it's there's a new type of excitement. We've gone up and down since the championship. So it's nice to see, I feel like there's a lot of real positive energy going on with the team. So, it's not like we're in Florida or,
Yeah, no, it's things are
we're up and up.
definitely things are up and up. A lot of players developing, and yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. It's only going to get more exciting. Let's jump right into it. Before I introduce a guest, I will say, as I've been saying, free Brittany Griner. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google it. But yeah, let's bring on guest number one. He's done this podcast a bunch. He's a podcaster himself, hardcore basketball fan, Raptors fan, also a Dallas Mavericks fan, and I think a Philadelphia Eagles fan. But we won't talk football on here. This is a basketball / Raptors podcast. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Ryan Henry.
Hey.
Hey.
We are here to talk hoops.
Yes.
And yes, everything Freddie has said, right on. We're not here to talk Eagles football, even though we're 3-0. Dallas Mavericks, Raptors. Yes, I got my Raptor tee on, though, because, this is a Raptors podcast, so I love it.
Nice. I am just wearing a generic green hoodie. No, but I got some Raptor shit in the back. You know what I mean? Thank you, sir, for doing the pod. Let's bring on guest number two. Old friend of mine, good friend of mine, awesome dude, hilarious dude, pretty good basketball player in his own right, I think. He is an incredible comedian. He's been on Colbert, he's been on Jimmy Fallon. He tours the country. He is absolutely just one of the best. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Graham K.
Stupid song. Every time with you guys, it haunts me. Do you know that internet that thing that happened on Twitter a couple weeks ago about this guy saying I have this playlist that I have sex to, and my girlfriend hates this one song. I think she's crazy, it's good or whatever. And then the whole internet, they listen to the song and it sounds just like that, and the whole internet just roasted this guy.
Yeah,
it's like beep 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 beep. He's like, it's just like left wing, right wing people came together on the internet to make fun of this song and this guy, and that is my theme song basically every time I'm on this show. I don't know why. I also that was very good interview. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love especially that you said he's a very good basketball player. Maybe.
I feel like I know. I got confused. I was like, I feel like I've seen you ball, and I feel like you're good.
Oh man, I do crossovers, chest passes, um, uh,
Other
set
stuff.
shots.
Yeah.
Yep. Left-handed
Well, dude,
layups.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Offhand ball is good. Yeah, your music
Mhm.
is definitely up there as far as one of the dumbest tracks. It sounds like someone slipping on a banana peel, falling into a river.
Yeah. It's like it's like a 1980. If this is like podcast was in the 80s, and it was like we have a comedian on Zoinks.
Well, I mean, that's me and Matt were hanging out this weekend. We went to the Raptors Republic party. It was really, really fun. And just, a little bit hungover in the morning. And Matt was talking about how he loves like shock jockeys and, how grew up listening to Howard Stern and like, weird sounds. So that's Matty D. But let's jump right in and start talking some Raptors ball. Speaking of whatever weird shit you're about to hear, please give it up for Matty D's Raptor Sting.
The Toronto Raptors, who's their mascot, Fred Flintstone.
Think that was Gilbert Godfrey?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah, great. Let's start on a super dark note. Shout out to Gilbert Godfrey and Fred Flintstone. I don't know. Barely connected in any way, but we're good. We're good. Graham, let me go to you first. I mean, I ended up today watching a bunch of Raptors Media Day. No judgment on either of you if you don't watch Media Day. I think around the league, it's a fun thing. You get a couple quotes. You also get just like a plethora of generic stuff. Everyone's healthier. Everyone's optimistic. For the most part, there's no drama. But, just a couple things I'll throw out there. And if you got something different or you want to talk about one of those, that'd be cool. But Masai, talking about kind of like continuity and patience. Heard a bunch about Point Scottie. OG kind of pushed away the rumors from the summer, talked about being content. There was a question about Fred's minutes. Nurse said he will try to find him less minutes, less of a workload. Pascal's really confident, wants to try and be one of the top 5 or, working towards being one of the top 5 players in the NBA. And yeah, I'm just wondering, like, what's your single biggest takeaway? Doesn't have to be one of those.
Well, I mean, basically you said everything. You asked me every single question about the Raptors at once.
Yeah.
I will say that I think what's interesting is you can't play Fred that many minutes, and they know that. They found that out for sure that they can't.
Yep.
They said it all last year leading up to his injury. The media was anyway.
Mhm.
And I mean, I listened to like Raptors podcasts, and they were like, "It's fine. He's really." People would make arguments that it's fine, and then obviously his legs fell off. But I think that Point Scottie, I can answer 2 questions.
Do it.
I think Point Scottie will help that a lot. And I think that he's proven that he can do that. It's also going to solve an OG issue. OG's pretty upset with his minutes and his role. There's a bit of a redundancy. Like there's Pascal, OG, and Scottie all kind of do the same thing a little bit. And I think that if you put Scottie at the point more, I think it frees up Freddie. OG gets to do his thing a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's what I feel. He's always been a pass first guy. I know that he went to Florida State because they said that he could be a point guard.
Yep, he mentioned that.
Even though they're like, we can't start you, and he's like, I don't care, I want to be point guard. So he really wants to be point guard.
Mm-hmm. He does.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like I think you touched on a bunch of stuff that are going to be a bunch of things that will end up being themes of the season, because he did go to Florida. He did come off the bench, and he did sort of this like big man point thing. We
Mhm.
might see some of that off the bench this year. Fred also commented on both those things, like, hey, I can play off the ball. I also, wanted a big and I got one. And I also, don't want to dominate the ball. And I didn't really pay attention to my body. I also think you hit on something that I was feeling all last year, which was sort of, a big part of the media being like, we're overplaying Fred. And then the franchise being sort of like, there was like a quiet rebuttal that was like, no, we're not. He can handle it. Stars want to play as much as they can.
Yeah.
And then him clearly breaking down after the All-Star break and never really
Yeah.
recovering.
Yeah.
So
sad.
it was kind of this weird thing. And like, I'm mostly on the side of like, we overplayed him, but I hear this argument that Nurse and Masai were kind of saying last year that we weren't a contender. So last year was about, proving different things, proving that
Yeah.
so I get that to a certain extent, but I feel like it is time to respond. And
Yeah.
I do think there's pressure on Nurse and Fred and Masai
So much pressure
to
on
manage
him.
Fred more.
Yeah. I also think it's all good. I think it was the right decision because it got us into the playoffs, and I think it's good for the young players to be in the playoffs and take a bigger role. Especially like
Totally agree.
and it might not have happened had they not overplayed him. It's okay so long as if he is healthy this year. If it's still affecting him and it's still like a lingering thing and it's like a sort of Kawhi thing where this weird injury keeps like coming back and limiting his minutes and going in and out, then it's like unforgivable.
I agree. And it's interesting you say, sort of like this lingering thing, right? Because we've seen hip issues, hamstring issues. Well, obviously, we're not really talking about Harden this year, but his hamstring issue has basically bothered him since Houston. It was a problem in Brooklyn and Philadelphia. Apparently, he's kind of over it. I remember way back in the day, Jose Calderon got a hamstring thing, and it kind of just never went away. Like you need an intense amount of rest, and for Fred, it's not hamstring, it's kind of like hip. But like you can't play your way into health. Like you do need a certain amount of rest. So
Terrible. I'm getting hip surgery in November because I've played too much basketball on on concrete. So
shit, man.
Yeah, you can't.
God damn.
You can't mess with the hips. I'll tell you that right now.
Hips don't lie, man. Sorry about that. I hope it goes well.
Mine are telling the truth. My right hip is telling the absolute truth.
Ryan, what's up? I don't know. I hope we didn't take all the points from you, but yeah, what's your sort of media day, I guess main takeaway or a couple takeaways?
I'll give you my takeaway, but just kind of going on that, I'm all for point guard Scottie. Honestly, big men point guards in NBA history, they're fantastic. You go down the list, like you look at Magic, LBJ to start his career, and whenever he wants to, really, Big O, Penny Hardaway, Jason Kidd. These are all like Hall of Famers and legends because they're able to pretty much dominate their size because every other point guard's short and just not able to match up with them. So if we're able to see Scottie develop into that, I'm all for it. And it kind of, I don't want to segue into your next question, but my big takeaway from it is that this is going to be interesting for a lot of Raptors because I feel like not that everyone has a chip on their shoulder, but everyone's coming in with something to prove. So you obviously know what Fred wants to do and who he's going to try to be because, it's that contract, it's that pressure, it's that can he lead this team thing. You have obviously Scottie, the new, I think by far he is everyone's favorite Raptor. So we just want to see him become, the next top guy. You have OG who's just like, in my opinion, just in this like, okay, what am I? Am I even going to be here? You hear a lot of OG trade rumors. And then of course, Pascal with the media food bait. I want to be a top 5 guy. So it's like, Oh, okay. Now everyone is coming in. Oh, and then paychecks. Who do you got? Gary Trent
Gary,
Jr.
yeah.
So everyone's coming in with, I need to do this. I want to be this. And I feel like that's going to cause a little bit of drama for us. Honestly, like I feel it's going to come to a point in the season where, players might get a little antsy. Everyone's got something to prove. Hopefully it works out for everybody and it works out for us. But I don't want to get into your next question because it kind of leads into that with who would I talk to. But yeah, I just feel everyone's coming in and there's one ball. So we got to figure this out. But I feel like it's a good problem to have because I still feel like the core of this team is great. I still feel like we're going to be top of the East, possibly, but everyone's coming in with something to prove. That's what I've taken from this media day.
Yeah, you definitely want ambitious players, right? And you want guys that kind of, I think it makes sense and it's healthy to want a bigger role and, assume that is like how you're going to get success. I'll touch on the point Scottie thing. I think for me, Scottie proved himself in transition almost immediately. I think in the half court is a bit of a different story as far as like tight dribbles and like, you can't really like post up all the time if you're going to be making like amazing passes unless you're Jokic. But we've seen Giannis, we've seen Ben Simmons, we've seen really big guys be able to kind of see these types of passes that other people can't. And I do think our best shooters, we'll see how Otto does. He's kind of like a spot shooter, but Fred, Gary, OG, there's your food, right? If you want to shoot more and Scottie's handling the ball more, maybe that just works out, right? And also, I think we'll see if Scottie has gotten better as a 3-point shooter. He isn't great at this point in his career. He isn't good at this point in his career. So I think we're going to see how much of a limitation that is. But the idea, like, hey, you surround Scottie with shooters and he's a brilliant passer. We'll see what kind of reads he can make. And, like bringing up the ball doesn't matter that much, right? Gary can bring up the ball. Fred can bring up the ball, and who
Pascal.
runs this? Yeah, Pascal, exactly. So, you do wonder, can Scottie, like as a point guard, can he run a pick and roll? I know the Raptors don't do a lot of pick and rolls, but if he gets stuck with it, do we want him taking fadeaway threes? Like that's sort of a thing that I guess like I wonder, but I also feel like we still have Pascal and, there's like Thaddeus Young. And like, I think this team, there's a lot of people who can move the ball and like, we're very like amorphous. So it's gonna, I mean, I'm on the side of, I feel like continuity and chemistry is looking really strong here. And as long as the collective goal is to be a good team, things will be fine. But you always worry, right? When personalities are too big, like what if Gary starts, as you're saying, Ryan, like not necessarily Gary, but like what if somebody's thinking about money and they're chucking too much? Who does that piss off? And, how does it work? But it should be pretty interesting going in. Let me go to you first, Graham. And we can hash this out a little bit. I'm definitely not like an expert on the rules, but I feel like particularly as a Raptor fan, this is interesting to me. So the league is taking away the transition take foul, different from the clear path foul, which is someone clearly like no one's ahead of them. They're on a breakaway and they get fouled, I think before half. And they get, I think it's 2 shots in the ball or 1 shot in the ball. Apologies if I'm incorrect there. But the take foul, the reason I say as a Raptors fan is because this is something that Kyle and DeMar, they just did all the time. It's when the team has like a fast break, like a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, but there is a defender back and they just know they're at a disadvantage. So they just foul someone, stop the play. It doesn't count. There's no free throws. They basically get to reset the defense. So Kyle would have 2 fouls, take the foul. Everyone gets to set the defense. It's like it was sort of a flaw in the game. And now if you do that, it's 1 shot and the ball. So
one shot in the ball. Interesting.
yeah, so basically if you do a take foul, it really is going to give the offensive team, like, you're not going to take away their advantage.
Uh-huh.
I sort of want to get your opinion on, or I mean, I do want to get your opinion on that, Graham, but I just want to say first, my kind of big concern is, does this mean even more video replay?
Oh
My
yeah.
friend
Good
and
point.
co-creator of the pod brought that up, where he's like, I like this, but does this just mean like another thing that they go to Atlanta for? Because
Yeah.
that's not great.
Right.
But yeah, Graham, you know, hit me with your thoughts. And yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there are certain fouls that are unreviewable, and hopefully maybe that'll be one of them.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm hoping, to be honest.
yeah,
You know, you're right.
because that would be a nightmare, and I think the league is pretty aware of it. I know that a couple years ago um, they had a lot of problems with the last 2 minutes of the game lasting 4 hours, and it was
Yeah.
just like review, 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 and it was just boring.
Yeah.
And I think they did a good job of fixing that. I can't remember if they put in any special rules, but it just seemed less insane this past year.
Hmm.
So I don't see them making that choice again. But of course, it's a big giant machine. I'm sure they're going to make a big stupid mistake. So who knows? But I think it's good. I mean, it's good. It's obviously when you have someone like Crafty on your team who exploits the rules. I love that. I love
Oh yeah.
watching Kyle do that, and everyone when like taking charges in the All-Star game, like all that kind of stuff. It's like I love
Yeah.
craftiness, whatever, but it sucks. 3-on-1 and then you don't get a shot. It's stupid.
Agreed. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I also love those players, but I feel like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just the ebb and flow of sports. It's like
Yeah.
really hyper competitive people find ways to exploit,
Yeah.
and then you have to correct that after
Mhm.
some time, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, Ryan, yeah, what's your thoughts on the take foul?
I like it. It can do a number. They plan to do a number of things with this. Obviously, we're going to get more exciting plays back, and that's the big point.
Yeah.
The fast breaks. They're going to make the business decision, just move out of the way, not even get near it. And you're going to have jumping out of the gym. You're going to have hopefully Westbrook jumping again. All these guys that are just known for the transition plays and the fast breaks, they want more of that, and hopefully we're going to get more now that that's there.
Mhm.
And yeah, Freddie, you kind of said it. Like originally, when I looked at this, I was like, oh, it's going to cut time because now they're just going to move out of the way. They're not even going to bother. But now it's like, okay, you have the crafty coaches and the crafty players. Are they now just going to use this more for strategy again? Are they going to actually take the foul? Because sometimes, getting that extra free throw that they could possibly miss is better than an arena like lifting
Yeah.
alley-oop. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you'd rather take the slow free throw than just getting absolutely destroyed and demoralized. So depending on who your player or coach is, they're probably gonna be like, you know what, just take it, do it anyway. So maybe, yeah, you are wasting more time. And then of course, again, it's gonna be interesting to see which players and coaches are like, no, I'm still doing it, I'm not doing it. Who's gonna lead it? Because again, one free throw is not bad. And depending on who you're fouling, they could still miss it. So it could still be the same game, or it could just again be better. But I would love to see more points on the board, which I think that will do, and then get guys excited to dunk, and we'll get more transition alley plays.
Yeah, I think you maybe still foul Jaw. You don't foul Boban. If it's Boban on the fast break, you're like, buddy, we'll see what you can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kevin Love's going to take that take foul on Ja Morant pretty much every time he plays him because he doesn't want a repeat of that nastiness that almost went in. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Man, just a quick aside, the journey that is Kevin Love, I'm really into, to be honest. Like he's like, everyone talks like, I always run into people at parties who are like, they're sort of frustrated about the player empowerment thing, and not frustrated by owners and whatever. And they're kind of like, I don't like that players or whatever. But people forget that Kevin Love tried to force a trade and Cleveland was like, nah. Like he was whipping the ball around and he was like trying to, force his way out. And Cleveland was just like, no, you were just no. Sorry, dude.
And it worked out for him. He's on a
it worked out for
beautiful
him. Beautiful
team
for them.
right now.
Like
still making money.
Talking about players exploiting whatever the system. Like I think part of that growth is, or part of like what's going to happen next is like sometimes not every player is going to be able to successfully force their way out of town. Like we'll see what happens with KD. Right? He wanted out. He's still there. We're gonna wrap this baby up, but let me go to you first, Graham. I know you're touring. You're all over the place, but we'll plug your socials. But besides that, what do you want to let people know? Where can they find you? All that.
Oh yeah. Well, here's something that I'm excited about and really want to plug. I just taped and we're just about finished editing my my newest comedy special. And
hey, congrats.
Yeah, we're kind of deciding whether to do it on Netflix Canada or release it just on YouTube for the masses, so it can reach more people. We'll probably end up putting it on YouTube for that reason. And so I'd love it if you are listening to this to subscribe to my YouTube page. So when it gets released in I think 10 days, it'll pop up on your thing and you can click on it. It would help me a lot. It's youtube.com/Graham K Comedy. So GRAHAMKAY comedy. Graham like the cracker, KAY like the jeweler comedy. That's it. Thank
Everybody,
you.
subscribe to Graham's YouTube page. He's ridiculously funny and amazing and deserves all of our support. So do that.
Can I plug one more thing?
Do it.
I'm going to be opening for Nate Bargatze in Toronto. He's one of the funniest comics in the world. You should check him out on New Year's Eve. So you can come check that out. It's going to be at Meridian Hall. I think it's like a theater. So
yeah, it's a big ass theater.
Yeah.
30th
and 31st. I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, dude, hopefully we can hang a little bit.
Let's do it.
Ryan, what's up? Everyone check out Below the Hardwood, but let people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's on the socials, pretty much the same name everywhere. It's R.A. Henry. So that's Instagram, Twitter. Obviously, if you follow me there, you're gonna, like Freddie said in the intro, gonna hear a lot of Maverick talk. I'm a big Dallas Mavericks fan, and we got an interesting season coming up ourselves in the West. Of course, Eagles talk if you're a football fan. The Cowboys suck. And yeah, Below the Hardwood kind of on a hiatus at the moment, but who knows? Could be back very soon. We'll see. My co-hosts Alan and Dexter, Alan, big man, a little bit busy these days, but we'll possibly see if we're back around in the future.
Yeah, shout out to Alan at the Black Legacy Awards. We got some amazing picks, and he's killing it. So, congrats to Alan. Definitely check out Ryan. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. Follow us on everything. Maddie, why don't you give people the goods? And let people know, how they can help us be like super fucking rich.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're here for, folks. As always, check out RaptorsRepublic.com. Lots of great in-depth sports writing going on there, as well as our podcast and all the other podcasts that appear on the Rapcast. And now that the season is starting, everything's going to be amped up, and there's going to be a ton of content for you to gorge. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, please like, please comment. We love all that good stuff. And of course, just subscribe to the Rapcast on your favorite podcatcher. And you can also listen to us on our own website, dunkspodcast.com.
Beauty. Well, I think we're good to go. Maddie, if you feel like we're donezo, give me the words I love so much. Okay.
Listen to full episodes of the Confederacy of Dunks only on the Rapcast.